Hi, I'm Kaz. I'm a motion graphics designer and video editor. I specialise in creating lyric videos for musicians. One of my favourite plugins to use with Adobe After Effects is the Saber Plugin with Video Copilot. It's free. I'll leave the link in the description so you can try it out. Here's a couple of examples of when I used it. This was the first video that I used it for. I've also used it for some fire effects. I once used it to create laser beams coming out of UFOs. I use it for text effects. It's just very versatile. There's lots of different settings. It's great. So today I'll walk you through how to create effects like these using the Saber plugin. So let's dive in and get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to go through is this effect, where we use a mask around an image and set it on fire or electricity or whatever you want to do. First thing we're going to do is do a new composition. So you go to composition, new composition, and we're going to name it Dragon. I've set it 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second at 10 seconds long. Click OK. And then we're going to import the image. I've put a link in the description where you can find the image so you can follow along. So if you click on File, Import, File, and select this one. Click Open, drag it to the timeline, and then we're going to scale it down a bit, so make sure it's highlighted and press S, and then we're just going to scale it down. So to begin, we're going to add a new solid, so you go to Layer, New, Solid, and we're going to name it Dragonfire. Make sure it's the same size as the composition and click OK. And then we're going to turn the opacity down a little bit, so if you make sure that that solid's highlighted and press T and just bring down the opacity just so we can see it better. Now you might want to zoom in. So to do that, on a Mac you press Command plus, and a PC I believe it's Control plus, and press the hand tool up here and just scroll down to the bottom, and then we're going to get the pen tool and we're just going to start making an outline around the dragon. I'm going to speed it up a bit so you don't have to watch me going around it, but if you want to spend some time doing it yourself, okay, so now we're going to do the eyes and the nose, which we're going to do in the same kind of way. So if you want to go to Layer, New, Solid again, and we'll call this Dragon Eyes. Make sure it's the comp size. Click OK. Press T and bring the opacity down. Take the pen tool and zoom in a bit, and just go around the eye like so. For the nose, let's do it again. Layer, New, Solid, Dragon Nose. Make comp size, click OK. Press T, bring the opacity down, zoom in, take the pen tool and just draw around the nose. Like that. Zoom out again. Highlight the 3 layers that we've just made, and on the opacity just bring them up to 100. Now for the fun stuff. Go to Effects and Presets, and type in Saber. Double click on it and you should get this kind of lightsaber effect straight away. There's a couple of things we need to do first. Go over to Customize Core and change the core type from Saber to Layer Masks. Now go to Render Settings and on Composite Settings change this from black to transparent. Like so. And you can see it's starting to have a glow around it. And here you have the presets, and you can see you've got loads and loads of different kinds of presets that you can use. So we are going to change this to fire. And you can see that it's got a pretty cool fire effect going on. On the original picture you can turn this off by clicking on the eye icon right here. Now before we change anything else, just going to take the Saber tool and copy it, paste it onto Dragon Eyes and paste it onto Dragon Nose. Now for Dragon Eyes we are going to keep this as fire, and Dragon Nose I will change this to soft smoke. Like so. And to see it better we are going to put a background on. So layer, new, solid, and just make sure this is all the way black. Change this manually to 6 zeros. Make comp size, click OK, and then just drag this right down to the bottom like that. There's a few transitions that we're going to do. If you click on Dragon Fire, and we're going to change the start offset. So right here, change this to 100, and then go forward 1 second and click on the stopwatch right next to start offset. And if you go down to Dragonfire and just click U, you can see that the keyframe we've just made is here, and press F9, which changes it to Easy Ease. Then we'll go forward 2 seconds and change the start offset to 0, and you can see, just to give it a minute to render. Play it again. You can see that's pretty cool. We're going to change the colour of this to a green. Change it to like a green. That looks cool. For the eyes, if you click on eye here and press T, that brings up the opacity. And this is something I do all the time. So click on the stopwatch, change this to an Easy Ease, and then go forward 1 second and change this to 0, and then select both keyframes, right click, go down to keyframe assistant, and then change this to time reverse keyframes, and then that will reverse it so it fades on like so. And we're going to do the same thing for the nose. Click on the stopwatch, press F9, go forward a second, turn this to 0, highlight both keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and time reverse keyframes. And you can have a play around with the settings and make something super cool. Maybe you want to have the dragon underneath, and we will change the colour of this. So if you go to Colorama, and you can change this to ramp green. Like so. And then have this, press T, change this to easy ease, go to the beginning, and press 0, so it's kind of like this, or you can move this forward, like so. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so that's how you use Saber with a mask. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a text effect, and we're going to learn this. So to begin, we need another composition, so press Composition, New Composition, and we will call this Electricity. Keep it at the same settings as before, 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second and 10 seconds long. Click OK. And to take the text tool, create a text box and type electricity in capitals. And to get it in the center, click Layer, Transform, Center Anchor Point in Layer Content. Make sure your caps lock is off. Then click on Align and just make sure it's aligned in the center, like so. So next you go to Layer, Auto Trace, keep all the settings as they are and press OK, and then create a new solid, so click Layer, New, Solid, and we'll call this Electricity again. Make sure it's comp size, click OK, and then on Auto Traced click M, which will bring up all the masks that you've just created from the Auto Trace. Highlight all the masks and press Command C to copy it if you're on a Mac, or Control C to copy it if you're on a PC, and then paste it on the solid by pressing Command V or Control V, and you can delete the Auto Trace. And on Electricity you can also, depending on what you want to do, but you can delete this too. We'll just turn the background black for a second, go on to Effects and Presets, type in Saber, double click on Saber, and we'll do the same things as before. Customize Core, Saber, Layer Masks, Render Settings, Composite Settings, change from black to transparent, like so. And then on the preset we're going to change this to electric. And for the effect, if you change the start offset to 100 and press the stopwatch on the electricity layer, press U, go to the Saber and just easy ease it, go forward 2 seconds and change this to 0. And there you go. That looks pretty cool. Have a play with all the different settings on the presets, change the colour, change the glow settings, and just have fun with it. Thank you for watching my tutorial. I hope you found it useful. This was actually my first ever tutorial, so let me know if there's any improvements I can make and how it was in the comments. If you create something awesome with Saber, I would love to see it. Find me on Instagram, Kaz_digital, and tag me in it. Thanks a lot.